Hey, so I've made a video on guns before. That previous video, I basically said that I didn't believe in gun bans or anything like that, or I was supportive of universal background checks. Um, I'm still supportive of universal background checks, but I don't know. The more news I read, the more like weird. I don't know. Doing research into some of gun laws is just kind of weird because some of the laws don't make much sense. But yeah, in general, I still support universal background checks. The reason I'm making this video is I find some of the polling to be dubious. Some of the polls show that favor for example, outlawing um, semi-automatic rifles to be pretty high in the 70 range, 70% range, or higher. Universal background checks. We're polling at like 90% of the population. Um, and I don't know. These numbers seem outrageously high. Um, and the reason they seem outrageously high is because, well, why are so many firearms being sold right now? I mean, the amount of firearms being sold are astronomical. I mean, any gun, a Glock, any type of firearm, AR-15s, AK-47s, standard rifles, uh, standard handguns, pistols, shotguns. All these firearms are being sold at breathtaking and record paces right now, and it's been like this for a couple years now. And in my previous video and a couple of videos, I've talked about how people around where I live have been complaining to me regularly about how they can't buy ammunition for their firearms because everybody's sold out. They're selling that much ammunition that everybody, including Walmart of all places, is selling out of ammo, um, which is fascinating because that's a massive contradiction. So, according to some of these polls, you have 90% of the population saying we need more gun control. Yet at the same time, this population is going out and buying guns. So something's wrong here. Um, I think the polls are wrong. I think most Americans don't support most of these provisions of outlawing any type of firearm or anything like that. Um, and it seems to me the fact that the firearms are being sold at such large volumes is proof of that. While I may support universal background checks, I just don't believe 90% of the population supports that. I don't even think it's in the 70% range. I think it's a lot lower. I think at best, even if it is a majority, it's going to be 52% or something like that. Um, I mean, I'm going to be providing links here because the amount of firearms being sold just across the board. I mean, when a gun shop runs out of AR-15s, people are like, "Well, okay, whatever. I'll take that hunting rifle, or I'll take whoa, I'll take I'll take a Glock. Oh, you don't have any Glocks, so I'll take the Ruger. It's just it's actually kind of amazing. So basically, Obama's the best thing to fight the firearm industry that's ever existed because all he has to do is say something in the press, and people will flock to their gun stores, to Walmart, to anywhere that sells guns, and buy everything. Everything. Some of these links talking about how the companies that produce these firearms, all of them, are basically maxing out their production lines. So they're having workers work, double, triple shifts just trying to pump guns out. They're opening up smaller, sub factories to produce more firearms because the demand for these firearms, um, well, it's just astronomical. It's amazing. Um, and I'm gonna put a link for the Gallup poll, which asks a bunch of questions. Like I said, I find some of the gun control ones a little fishy just because of just the sheer volume of firearms being sold is just amazing. And first time buyers are going through the roof of just any type of firearm, shotgun, pistol. People are just racking up AR-15s and buying weapons from the former Soviet Union because it looks like a bunch of countries in the former Soviet Union are realizing that Americans are going on a buying binge right now, so they're trying to ship their firearms over to the United States. Of course, they make them legal in accordance with American law, so AK-47s are turned into semi-automatic machine gun or semi-automatic rifles and such, and then they're sold over here. But yeah, entire armories in the former Soviet Union are being opened up and sold to businesses. Cabela's, which is a large outdoors industry type business that sells camping gear and firearms and stuff like that, actually secured a huge stockpile of Mosin Nagats. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's a bolt action rifle. They secured a huge amount of those and are selling them left and right. From I think they got them from the Ukraine. I don't remember. Anyhow, firearms are selling like crazy, which leads me to believe that the polls on gun control are I don't know. I find them very dubious. One of the polls questions, which I'm linking below here, I don't find dubious. It says, what would be better, more gun control or more investment in mental health services? And they said, let me pull the link up here. And of course, I have to do something different here. I should have probably been more prepared for this. And as usual, I was not prepared. Alright, well, anyhow, one of the questions. Well, screw it. I don't see where. Well, anyhow, the percentages are there. It's like 30. I think it was 30% supported more gun control, whereas 65% supported increased funding to mental health services. And in my opinion, this is the problem: is lack of mental health services. Lack of medical care in America is the problem in general for everything, but. But mental health services, when you get these high-profile mass shooters, the thing they all have in common is they're all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and they're not being treated. So they lash out by killing people. Like the Aurora shooter dressed up as the Joker, like from the movie Batman, and went in there and shot people up, and then just surrendered when the police came. Didn't run or he's crazy. Across the board, all these shooters generally have severe mental problems. Had they been treated or receiving treatment, we wouldn't have these issues. But we don't have, just as we don't have medical care in this country, in terms of any type of medical care, we don't have mental health services. So these people tend to be, crazy, which means they probably can't afford to see a professional to help them through their issues or get them on some medication or something that, general mental health services. So they need it, but they can't get it. They go crazy and what have you. So, yeah, I mean, and of course, if they're crazy, they probably don't recognize they're crazy. So, yeah, there's another thing there. So yeah, I question these. I question these polls on gun control. And another thing is, I'm linking another little article here. It talks about how gun crime has actually gone down in America, not up, down for the past 20 years, which is another thing that's interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I really find these polls dubious, and I also don't like how it's changing focus off of other issues, like for example the mental health issue. Like whenever you see the news talking about these mass shootings, it's all about gun control. We need to outlaw, high capacity magazines. We need to outlaw this. We need to outlaw that. We need to have background checks and this and that. Well, a background check isn't gonna find a crazy person. A mental health screening is going to find a crazy person, but a background check's not going to do that. So I mean, if a crazy person goes in and buys a gun, um, he's going to buy that gun, and he'll pass the background check as long as he hasn't committed a felony in the past. So yeah, I don't know about that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave a bunch of links down below. Yeah, I find this one of those wedge issues that I think is used to distract people from real problems. I mean, when crime's going down, violent crime with firearms is actually going down. Why are we drumming up that it's so high and we need to pass laws and regulations on it? It seems bizarre. Why is this so heavy in the media? Why is it in the media? Why don't they talk about the fact that the people that committed these mass shootings were crazy and they need medical medical help to they need to be treated. Well, they don't talk about that because that would mean that we'd have to have some sort of a national discussion on creating some sort of national or at least state-based mental health services to deal with these mentally ill people, which is something that the elite doesn't want because they also don't want health care. They don't want people to have health care. They don't. I mean, this is just a running issue. There's these wedge issues that stop us from doing anything, and they stop us from analyzing what's going on in our society. And you really have to break it down and do a lot of research, which you can do on the internet, but most folk don't have the time or inclination to do it. So once again, here's a whole bunch of links. I have them categorized about what they are. The bulk of them are about the gun sales, and how Obama's basically the best gun salesman in human history. At least from what I've read here. I mean, it looks that way to me. Anyhow, yeah. So there's a bunch of links. Do with them as you wish. Give me your opinions on this. What do you think? Is the gun debate a diversion from actual problems that we're having as a society, as in, the lack of mental health services? I don't know. Whatever.